There was violence, there was anger, depression. Here's the full story. Hey everyone, if you're still with me, this is the final video of the story of my dad's death. This is actually the aftermath, what life was like following his death, and the struggles and the very few happy moments afterwards. Okay, so I'll just take you back a little bit. January 2002 was, I think it was, I can't remember the exact date of the burial, but my dad died on the 19th of January 2002. The funeral was massive. There was all these people there. I think a good like 80%, I don't know any of those people. You know, a lot of distant, like Samoan people, you know, you bring a distant family even that you don't know who these people are, you never see them again after that. But his funeral happened, just like how his death was, which was quick. Life moved on pretty quick after that as well. My mom, straight away, you know, she was dealing with heavy depression at the time. Okay, she's got 4 kids to look after. She's running a business, and she's not really processing everything properly. She's drinking a lot. She's going out. Now that I'm older, she was trying to numb the pain, right? That's what usually is what's happening. She's trying her best to numb the pain. Many nights I saw my mom. Well, I didn't see her, but I could hear her crying late at night in the bathroom. And me and my brother, like, it's like we would kind of get annoyed, but then we felt sad. Like, we would tell each other, go tell mom to, like, go check on her and tell her to stop crying. But we never got up to do, because we didn't want to face it again. We were uncomfortable and shy about it. So we just try to, like, block our ears. But many nights she was crying, man. Like, I felt so sad for her after. Yeah, she just went on, you know. My mom did so much, like, she even way later, which I will talk about in another video, but she still had to keep everything together, keep the family together. Like, she was working a lot, you know, trying to keep the business. They just started this business a year ago, and now dad's gone, you know. Now it's all up to her. So she's running the business. She's kind of dealing with stuff, trying to keep us kids in school properly, you know, like, do everything that our parents should do. And then here comes me. My behavior and my issues manifested pretty quickly after, like, probably like 6 months later. I can remember, you know, I was in year 5, grade 5, and then I started to not go to school. My mom would think I would be going. Some days I don't even go. I hanging out with the wrong people, hanging out with older kids, some kids who were kicked out of school. We would just hang out the back of the school. And I was angry a lot. Basically doing what, kind of like what my mom was doing, not processing the thing properly, you know, the death of my dad. So I was looking for trouble all the time. I'm not a violent person, but I was looking for a fight anyway, just to express my anger and my issues. And then that kind of followed on into high school. Here comes 2 years later, grade 7, getting suspended now. And then I kind of go through each year, kind of, yeah, just angry all the time. This is a very important one. You know how some kids that deal with stuff, they start drinking, they start maybe smoking, you know, getting into drugs a little bit. For me, it was the complete opposite. I never really liked drugs or alcohol, but I did like girls. And that became my vice to kind of numb my pain. And I realized by 18, 19, that the girls that I would, like, you know, hook up with, whatever, they were also kind of the same as me. They had family issues, they had daddy problems, they had all this shit. But it would always end up with those chicks for some reason. And I hated that. I hated it because I was like, but why am I ending up with these loser chicks for some reason? But yeah, that was my vice, man. That type of behavior, it affected me into adulthood when I would choose partners or go on dates with people. Now, knowing myself now, and you know, being a lot wiser, I kind of I you know I kind of understand the traits of certain women, you know, like when I kind of get to know them, and I stay away from some of them. But yeah, man, it was very tough afterwards for all of us. I'm only speaking about my, you know, my experience. I don't know what my siblings and when up, you know, struggled with. We don't really talk about it. You know, that's another thing. Me and my siblings and my mum were very close, but then we're kind of like, especially back then, we were close, but we're kind of not close. Like we're close enough, but we don't want to get too deep about things. That was just the way that we grew up. But I always felt like you needed to because of that event that happened. You know, that death of my dad, it like traumatized all of us. You know, it affected so much because of everyone dies, right? Everyone dies, but because of who he was in our community. So he was often very revered. Everyone that knew my dad, everyone that everyone that knew him, they always said good things about him. Like he was like a ultimate like human being. You know, he had his own demons and issues, like we all do. But I still remember this story when like I think I was in like year three or something. I was playing in the playground at school, and I look at the other side of the playground, and there's this big circle of kids that's just around like walking towards me, but it's like there's someone in the middle, and it's my dad, man. He's like walking like, and he's just like chatting to everyone. Everyone's happy. That guy made more friends in like 1 minute than I would ever have in my life. Like he was that type of guy. He just had like this thing about him that was just like magnet. You know, it's like he had magnetism, and he was also a type of guy that like that don't really exist anymore. He was from a generation of men that's like it's just different like these days, you know. And then for myself growing up, as I got into you know, teenage years, like 15, 16, I started to resent my dad kind of because when I would meet friends of his, when I would meet people that knew my family, and even interactions with my own mum, like when, you know, she have a few, you know, and then she says things that like maybe to her, from her perspective, it doesn't think it's gonna hurt me. It's just gonna, it's supposed to like kind of move me forward. But the way that I internalized it was different. When when people would tell me, "Oh, you gotta be like your dad. You gotta, you know, you gotta do something to keep your name up. You gotta do something like this. Remember who you're named after." I would hear all this noise around me, all this noise, but no one ever asked me like how I was. Like no one ever, it was all this other stuff that like, and it really killed my self-esteem a lot. It killed my self-worth. You know, like there's some days are dark, man. Like some days you don't want to wake up, if you get what I mean. Um, but yeah, my whole teenage years was like that. It was just getting into trouble, looking for fights, unhealthy relationships with, you know, with girls, um, like unhealthy, like physically and mentally, if that's a more G way of saying it. But it wasn't until I was about 20, I think about 23 to 25, maybe it was an age thing. Like, you know, my mindset kind of started to change. You know, maybe you become wiser and stuff. And then, you know, I started to kind of think about, I became really self-reflective and started to think about my mom. And, you know, all this time, like I had this negative perception of what she did, or like, or no, not what she did, but what she didn't do. But then I finally understood her story because I would ask her a lot about her upbringing and her life. And then I would put all the pieces together like a puzzle. And being older now, you understand people, and I was able to, you know, I forgave her for not doing what she should have done because I understood, you know, I understood why. Her heart was always there. She just didn't have a fair shot herself, like with her own family and stuff like that. So yeah, 24, 25 was when things started to change a lot for me, even until, like, even though it wasn't like fully changed, but um, I started to think about my family more, and you know, started thinking about myself and who I want to be and what I don't want to be anymore. I never thought that if a person dies, like a parent or sibling, that you can be traumatized from it. I spoke to somebody that deals with, you know, like works in psychology, and what they said it's a real thing. People can be traumatized by death, especially in the unique situation that I'm in. You know, with all the factors, being that close to the whole situation, then him being who he is, and then on top of that, the counterpart, which is my mom, going through her own stuff, and then projecting that stuff on me without her even knowing. There's so many layers to these issues, but I want people to know that I'm pretty sure a lot of people go through this, but they don't even know. I made a video about maybe you're the problem. Like, I don't mean that in a bad way, but self-reflection is a great thing. You know, a lot of people don't want to be real with themselves. But the more that I sat down and thought about who I am and what I don't like about myself and who I want to be, I had to be honest about these things, about, like, you know, my behaviors and stuff like that. And it's been a transformation, man. Slow, but it's been awesome. That was a long story, and if you've watched all these videos, I thank you so much. You know, I hope it helps anyone. Please let me know how you feel about, you know, if you've been through this, if you've identified that maybe you have trauma and stuff like that. That's awesome. Like, let's talk about it. Your life isn't over yet, so that's something that I tell myself. My life's not over yet, and we're all about growth and stuff here. So God bless you, and thanks for watching.